Hello and welcome to the Story Pilgrim, St Rumbold's Way, Legacy Reflections. This is the first overnight walk that I have done in quite a while, and boy do I miss it. I love walking, and to go out for a couple of days was much needed. King's Sutton to Buckingham, only 18 or so miles through classic English countryside. I don't want to give too much away about St Rumbold at this point. We are going to get into that along the way. Before we do, I invite you to make sure that you are following this podcast and give me a review, please. It should only take you a few minutes, but it will last a long time. We're going to talk about that theme a little later. St Rumbold's Way, a story I came across a few months ago, and I was intrigued. So much that I had to walk his pilgrimage. Let's get to it. I am in King's Sutton, Northamptonshire. I'm at the King's Sutton Parish Church, which is an absolutely delightful church. Beautiful graveyard. You know how much I like graveyards. But the reason why I'm here is because of a pilgrimage. It is St Rumbold's pilgrimage. It goes from here, King's Sutton, to Buckingham. It's only about, it's just over 17 miles. And it is there because of St Rumbold. I'm here because it's quite an interesting little story. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But we're going to head out today. I'm going to go across to Brackley, stay the night in Brackley, and then we'll finish off with Buckingham tomorrow. So a delightful little church. My timing is awful. The bell's just tolled, and I missed it. So I'm not going to hang around for an hour for it to do it again. It's closed up. I would like to go in. The reason why I would like to go in, I'll tell you about that in a bit. But yeah, this church has been here since 1846. It's got a wonderful spire with little gargoyle. It looks like gargoyles going all the way up it. It's quite knobbly, really. So, I'm going to start. I'm going to find out where this thing is. There's some stocks over there. It's a really delightful little village. There's not much. It just is your typical English countryside village. Let's have a look at these stocks over here. There's one car on the road, and she has to wait for me. Literally. I'm in like a village green area, and here's the King's Sutton stocks. These stocks date from the early 19th century. In 1858, a local man was put here overnight for being drunk and disorderly, guarded by 2 parish constables. He was later discharged at Brackley Petty Sessions. There you go. He was stuck in those stocks there, just for being drunk and disorderly. That's a bit naughty, isn't it? Right, let's find out. Oh, it is lovely. There's little thatched cottages, 3-storey house there. That's sort of like a workhouse. Little Tudor-style cottages, dry stone walls. I get the feeling that this may be one of those lovely walks that isn't walked that often, and along the way you're walking along routes that are pretty much established now because people take their dog for a walk. It gets that kind of feeling. There's no way markers as of yet. I've only just started, so I'm only not even half a mile into the walk, but there's no actual St Rumbold Way. I say that, and I'm coming up to a little bridge here, and there are markers on it. Let's see if it says anything about St Rumbold's Way, or if it's just like a public footpath. Yeah, public footpath. I've said it before, and I'll probably say it again. We're so lucky in this country to have the public footpaths that we have. And here I am walking through a farmer's field. Again, this one is wheat. It's been harvested quite recently. And the path is going right through the middle of the field. I mean, it's not going down the side, it's not going down the edge, it's cutting diagonally right across the field. And the farmer has kept the path here. I don't know if you total up how much of this field he's used up here. It's probably, in the grand scheme of things, it's probably not much, but it's here. So it's like, thank you to the farmers who do that, who allow us to have this access. And again, there's a flock of seagulls, but right next to the seagulls, they've just flown off. There is a murder of crows. There's quite a few of them. They were all in this field right where I am now, but they all, obviously because I came, they've taken off and they're hovering over the top of this coppice of wood. That's quite a magnificent sight. There's probably about, 200 of them. They're just sort of floating in the air and playing with the wind. A murder of crows, a flamboyance of flamingos, a bloat of hippopotamuses. I love things like that. Even though I am dyslexic, I love words. I mean, we all use them, and I love the way that they sometimes feel in my mouth. Is that weird? Let's burrow deeper into why I'm walking this route. The reason why I am here is because of St Rumbold. It was a story that I just came across as I was searching to figure out where I might go on my next walk, and it really, really intrigued me. I know the name Rumbold. Born circa 16. I said that when I was going through it the other day. 650 AD. Excuse me, bit of a frog in my throat. Died circa 650 AD. 3 days old. He has quite a story, which is why I'm kind of here. So he is an infant saint from Anglo-Saxon times, as I said, 650. I just negotiated a style here at the moment. I'm in the field, or roughly the field that he was born in. I'm just outside of King Sutton. He was born in a field. He had royal parentage. His mother was Sinaiberga, daughter of Penda, king of Mercia, and his father was Alcifirth, son of the king of Northumberland. Rumbold's parents apparently were travelling northwards to meet Penda. The party, they stopped and camped in a field near King Sutton, one of these fields that I am in now, or I've already walked through. And Rumbold was born. So he had quite a precocious start, really. He could talk right from the word go. On his first day, apparently he exclaimed, "I am a Christian," shouted that out 3 times, which was quite an unusual thing at that time, because there weren't many Christians in the mid 7th century in England. So there was he demanded, the baby demanded to be baptised, and they had a bit of a problem because they didn't have anywhere really to baptise him, and he demanded that they go back. There was a suitable bowl-shaped stone in a hut near this. This story is very kind of weird, but there was a bowl-shaped stone in a hut, and they went, oh yeah, that might do, and they came back and they went, it's too heavy, and the baby Rumbold apparently demanded that they bring the stone to him, and so they did, and found it quite easy. It says they were like, oh, actually that was easier than we thought. And apparently the reason why I wanted to get in the church was that stone was then moved to the King Sutton Parish Church, and is supposed to be the baptismal font there. Now, whether that one is still the one, I mean, we're talking 650, yeah? So it would have to be there for over 40. I mean, that parish church wasn't built until 1846, so that kind of doesn't work, does it? But yeah, he demanded to be baptised, and then he further astounded everyone by preaching a sermon on Christian virtues and the Trinity. And on the third day, he said he was going to die, and that he wanted to be buried for 1 year where he was born, so in the King Sutton area, 1 year in Brackley. I don't know why he hadn't even been there, but that's where he wanted to be buried for a year, and then 1 year in Buckingham, which is where we're going. So I'm going from King Sutton to Brackley to Buckingham. I am following in the steps of a dead baby, basically. We'll talk more about this story later. It just really intrigues me, and then I've kind of trying to find out are there more like babies out there that have claimed to have done that, and there aren't that many. You find things like you'll get a lot of work about St John the Baptist and stuff and all that type of stuff, but he didn't really do anything like St Rumbold. I mean, Rumbold's off the scale, really. I am walking through Charlton, like I said, not the Charlton of London. A beautiful, I'm just probably going to be saying this today and tomorrow. Just a quaint little village. There's like I've just been past the Rose and Crown, another pub, and I said that King Sutton had one, but no, it had two that I could see. There was one just around the corner from the one that I saw, and it was the white horse. It's supposed to be the white horse, but the R had fallen off, so it was the white hose. Colour here is it's limestone. It's very limestoney colour. What colour's that? Yellowish sort of thing. I'm really bad. I'm colourblind, and I think I put that down to my dyslexia. Some lovely sunflowers outside that cottage. They've all got little names. Forsythia Cottage, Middle Earth. There you go. I've made it to Middle Earth. The old bakehouse. Wonder what that used to be. It's a very gentle day. I think the nice thing with doing this one and these things of this length is I could, if I'm being honest, I could do this in a day. You know, it's just over 17 miles. It would be a very long day, and you would be like in your head, the walnuts, in your head. You're kind of like, I've got to get there, you know, I've got to do this in a day, and drive it up and then going back home and stuff. So this is kind of nice in the way that you go, well, I've only got to get to Brackley, you know. I'm not going to stay there a year like St Rumbold did. Just going to stay the night. Got a nice little Airbnb. This is episode 30 of the podcast. Don't know how I feel about that. I love doing this. I absolutely do. Never thought I'd get this far. I sat on those first two episodes. I made them St Cuthbert's Way, and then just sat on them for about a year. Didn't do anything with it, and then I was just like, well, I need to get this out. I need to just do something with it. Did I though? What is that? What's that inside me that felt like I needed to do that? I've noticed over the last few weeks, as I'm doing the podcast and the newsletter and the blog, if you have all of those three, thank you so much. If you're not, sign up for the newsletter. It's on the front page of the website, thestorypilgrim.com. The blog is there on thestorypilgrim.com. There's a little tab at the top for you to go to the blog. And as I'm writing them, it's all about me in the respect that it's all about what I'm feeling and worrying about or thinking about at that time. And that's all I got, really, isn't it? I'm in a relationship, I have my family, I have my friends, things that are happening with them. But my experience through this world is very unique, but it's also universal in that we're all doing the same thing. So I'm not quite sure where I'm going with that, but it kind of does feel like, I moved the podcast over now. I did a year with Podbean, and I'm now hosting with Buzzsprout because I'd heard good things about that. That's changed things a little bit for me, just because I'm new to this. I'm only a year in, and I'm used to certain things. And then Buzzsprout does it a little bit differently, so got to adjust to that. So just navigating all of that. But there is on the Buzzsprout, you may have noticed, a little feature where the listeners are able to send a message. We can't reply to those messages. I can reply to them via the podcast. So if you hear something in an episode, or you have a question for something, right at the top there's a thing like send us a text. Do that. Send me a text. Like I said, I can't reply. You can get in touch with me through the website. But if you do get through to me via this, then I'll reply to you in my next episode. Please do use that feature. Text me. Grey. Limestone apparently is mainly grey, but you can get yellow as well. So there you go. Am I overthinking that again? Is this overthinking? Am I overthinking what I feel is overthinking? Oh. Meanwhile, back on St Rumbold's Way, I am at Hinton in the Hedges. When you come into Hinton, there is a stunning, I'm using that word a lot, aren't I? Church. That's a Norman church. That's older. You can tell that's like it's got the classic Norman style. I'll find out the name of it in a second. Some beautiful yew trees in the entranceway there that leads up to it. Let's see if we can find a name down here. Let's close the gate. There it is, the Most Holy Trinity Church in Hinton in the Hedges. I'm going to stop and have some lunch because there is a nice little village green here with a couple of lovely benches. I say village green, it's basically a triangle with a massive tree on it, massive oak tree. Oh no, that's not oak. That, methinks, is a sycamore. Beautiful. Lunch today is the classic Darren Hill sandwich that he loves. It's corned beef with white pepper on white bread, Warburton's bread. Now, there is a bit of a contention in our household as to how you cut your sandwiches. there's several ways, isn't there? You diagonally, or horizontally, quartered. But we're just going to focus in on diagonally or horizontally. Now, horizontally, you could say, well, you're cutting it like down the middle, like vertically. In other words, is there going to be a crust on both sides? Or are you cutting it where the main crust is on the top and the bottom crust is on the bottom? Does that make any sense? It does to me. But there's that. But we're not going to worry about that. We're just doing horizontal cuts. So we've got here, my first bite is going to be from the triangle, the diagonal cut. So it's a triangle sandwich. Okay. So that's like lovely, peaceful village. It's so peaceful here, isn't it? And then, okay, so that was the diagonal. Let's take a bite out of the rectangle. Corned beef with white pepper. Okay, so with the triangle, don't really have to open your mouth as much because it sort of like slides in. The rectangle, there's actually no difference whatsoever. It's exactly the same. It tastes the same. It fits in your mouth the same. It doesn't matter. And the choice of crisps today is a classic. I've got to find it. What am I looking in my packet of crisps for? A little blue bag. You know what that means. Is it a bag? Would you call it a bag? Oh, I've got to put this down. It's a sachet. Is it sachet? Little paper sachet of salt. Of course it is the Salt and Shake. Originally Smith's Salt and Shake. We're going to throw in the salt. It's actually quite bad, isn't it? And then you grab it at the top, give it a good shake, shaking it up like a shaky thing. And then, of course, oh, they're good. Just the right amount of salt. Ah, lovely. Walking along the back of lovely houses with beautiful gardens, and some of the families here have made like a little allotment, and there's a funny little scarecrow. Yeah, I'll take a picture of that, maybe put that on the blog. I always say this and then end up doing other stuff or not doing it. Is it on the blog? Well, go and have a look. thestorypilgrim.com/blog. The first day was drawing to an end. I had walked around 8 miles and now entering Brackley. You basically enter into a this is a brand new housing estate. It's supposed to be able to... Oh yeah, there's a little hole in the hedge over there as well. Okay, so this probably wasn't... This is brand new. These houses are continually to be built. There are people in these ones. Brackley has a couple of churches, St John's Chapel and St Peter's Church. This is where St Rumbold was supposed to have been buried for 2 years, actually. 2 years here. Being buried where St Rumbold's well used to be, but it's not there anymore. There is another well, Golden Spring Well, which is up by St Peter's Church. St Peter's Church supposedly been there since the 7th century. They reckon the oldest part of the church is dating back to then. They reckon most of it was built in the 13th century. Legend has it that it represents a priest who was buried alive for quarrelling with Lord Neville, but not before his faithful dog jumped into the grave before it was filled. Yeah, the grave is in the northwest corner of the church. Might give that one a miss. But yeah, it's a lovely market town. Highly recommend you come in and having a day here. There's lots of little shops. There is an antique fair underneath Waitrose. It's got about 180 different little stalls in there. There's It's very patriotic. There's lots of Union Jacks flying everywhere. That's the British flag for any of my American listeners. Oh, terribly patriotic, what? Charming. I had a lovely evening in Brackley. Time to eat, relax, and rest up for the next day's walking. Slightly longer day 2. Should have been just over 10 miles. I say should. Good morning. Day 2 of St Rumbold's Way. Had a lovely evening in Brackley. Went to the Greyhound pub, which, if you're here on a Monday, does a rump steak, an 8-ounce rump steak for £12 with all the trimmings. It was really nice. So we have got about 10.5 miles to go today to get to Buckingham. As I said, St Rumbold supposedly spent 2 years of his death here in Brackley, and then is supposedly buried in Buckingham. As far as I'm aware, there's no evidence. There is a plaque that has been put up in Buckingham, so we shall see if we can find that. Walnut Tree Cottage. It's absolutely perfect. It's just little windows, little door with the overhanger awning, ivy growing up it, hanging baskets. It is absolutely lovely. It's one of those ones, this does it's doing my soul a lot of good. Just kind of holds you and goes, it's alright, don't worry, it's okay. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend this walk if you want to see, stunning, out of this world, breathtaking scenery. But I would recommend it if you just need a couple of days away to just reset. So I have come across a slight problem. I am supposed to turn right now and follow a bridle way down, but I am stood directly over the top of the HS2, the new link, high-speed link from London to Birmingham train route, and the HS2 literally goes straight down the bridleway. It's just this massive big cut in the earth. At this point it looks like they're putting in a bridge or something, because there's houses that need to be connected, but you just look along. I'm stood right on the top of it now, and you just look all the way along, and there's just vehicles, flashing lights all the way. It's just cutting a massive scar through the countryside. Wow. I know it's controversial, but when you see it, and they're dug down deep, so deep. I mean, we're not talking 5 or 6 feet, we're talking probably 30 or 40 feet. What the heck did they find when they went down there? I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna. There's a road that these guys are going along. I think I'm gonna have to go down that road because I need to go that way. Morning. I'm a little bit scuppered. My route that I'm supposed to be walking is supposed to take me straight down.
Yeah, they're all shut off because where that white bit of fencing is there.
Yeah.
That's where it usually takes you across there. So if you carry on up here, you'd end up on the airfield, which you can walk through.
There.
Yeah, you can walk through the airfield.
But I want to get down here. That's taking me the wrong direction. You see, this is my route. This one here going this way, so I'm going to Buckingham.
Mhm.
So.
See what you'll do. So see, you carry on up there.
Yeah.
As you walk through onto the airfield, it'll take you back onto this walk because there's a lot of people do it exactly the same.
Smashing.
I know they go up there
And then
and you
turn
always
right.
say go right, and it should take you back onto that walkway.
Wonderful. Okay. Let's
Because
see
that's where you would have ended up going, where that white gate
Yeah,
is,
where the
where the
white
brown,
gate is.
the wooden fence
Yeah.
is exactly where, because it used to take you across there. But
Okay,
then,
perfect. All right.
as they've shut it off.
Yeah, no worries. That's not. Yeah, I'll find a way.
Okay.
Thanks very much.
All right,
Take care. Bye. So this HS2 side here is just, it's ridiculous. It's massive. There's just loads of vans just driving around. But you walk down past through, the route that I've come is down past through Oatley's farm. And the farmer here has done a really cool thing on the edges of his fields. He's got bamboo growing. And it sort of like just hides the field. But it looks stunning. It's just stood there. It must be at least 10, 12 feet high on the edges of the field. I understand that bamboo's really quite evasive, like really shoots up and along, but you just have to put a small the roots don't go down very deep, so I think contain it. You just need to keep them down. But that's it's really quite picturesque, seeing this bamboo just floating around in the wind. Now I've got to figure out how I get past this bloody HS2. It's a right pain. There's so many cars and just random trucks. Here's another one, look. There's just one guy in that truck. They're just driving around. What are you doing? You're not doing anything. What a mess. It's not only the cut of the HS2 through the countryside, it is all the construction sites, roads, car parks that have been built alongside it that is devastating. What a mess. You can read all the studies about the impact of HS2 that is having on the environment, but you only need to go and see it in action to see the reality of it. So sad. This was extending my walk this day, not sure by how much at this point, and was having to wind my way back towards St Rumbold's Way, but still coming across barriers and detours. Just when I thought I could get back onto St Rumbold's Way, nah. Having to walk along the A422, which I crossed over yesterday. I'm going down to Westbury. Once I get into Westbury, I should be able to get back onto St Rumbold's Way. Fingers crossed. Never worked in construction. Just throw that out there. Never worked in construction and never worked in hospitality, yeah, but never worked in a restaurant or a bar. Never been a barman or a bar lady, bar person. Never done that. Never waited on tables. Yeah. I am coming across some absolutely delightful churches on this route. At St Augustine in Westbury. It's just lovely. Just another fantastic graveyard around it. I'm back on the route. Hurrah! Oh, this is delightful. So well kept, and yeah, this one's old. This one's Norman. Oh, it's lovely. Oh, it's really... I'm getting really excited about a little church. I think it's also because I'm back on the route and bloody HS2 is behind me. St Augustine's is a lovely church, take my word for it. There was also a handsome gate there with a characterful piece of string on it. Did someone say research or sheep? Let's talk a little bit more about St Rumbold. the amazing baby. I searched a lot, and I got a distinction in my MA, so I know how to research. Yeah, I'm full of shit, but there's some sheep here just looking at me like, what are you doing? Oh, there's lots of poo. Anyway, I did a lot of research, as much research as I could. About 5 minutes. No, I did. Oh, sheep are off. And there's not much information out there, because I mean, crikey, he's around in 650 AD, so no, there's not going to be much information, is there? Yeah, these sheep are not happy. Oh, they're lovely though. They're speckled like faces. Those black faces, but they're like white speckles. There's quite a few of them here. Yeah, alright, morning. Oh, they're all off now. Anyway, so I found some information on the University of Buckingham, which tells me about St Rumbold, and it's basically saying there's 3 sheep really just like, they look like they're going to just run at me at any second. There's a section that says, is there any supporting evidence? Yes, as legendary history. Okay. The supposed baptismal font can still be seen in King's Sutton Church. We talked about that, but we couldn't get in it. Then in the 1070s, this is 300 years after the fact. Shortly after the Norman conquest, we know that, the life of St Rumbold was written down in the scriptorum of Bishop Wulfstan of Worcester, one of the few remaining Anglo-Saxon bishops in the church now packed by Norman appointees. Accounts of Rumbold's miraculous life were widely circulated in the Middle Ages, and his tomb and shrine in the old church of Buckingham became an important focus for pilgrims. Many came to take the curative waters of St Rumbold's well, close to the town. There must be another well then, because there was a well in Brackley as well. And the earliest inns of Buckingham were repeatedly founded and furnished on the pilgrim's trade. I think we have it there, don't we, really? It's just a marketing technique, just to get people to come along. Yeah, there were this baby. It was about 300 years ago. It declared itself a Christian. Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah, come and see the site where it was born. It was written down 300 years later. Oh, there's loads of sheep poo. So I'm sorry, University of Buckingham, but you can't put that down as evidence, can you? These sheep kind of like circle you. Like it's only about 4 foot away from me. Oh, he's having a poo. Just lots of poo. This is better. Carry on with the ramblings and the musings of the University of Buckingham. Unfortunately, there is little that remains today. Pilgrims to Buckingham ceased after the Reformation, and St Rumbold's shrine and tomb seem to have been demolished when the old Buckingham Church fell down in 1776. Well, I'm on a campaign now. I'm going to put St Rumbold back on the map. Literally. But we're just going to have to figure out what we're going to do with the HS2. I can save. I will save it. This route that I'm doing now. But it is, like once you're away from that, it's lovely. I love it. I just love it. It's lovely. The field that I'm walking through right now is recently harvested wheat field. Has a lot of stones in it, a lot of rocks, but the footpath again cuts right across There is just a very faint, you can just see it. I can see the hole in the hedge that I'm heading to, that I need to go through to get through to the next field. But leading to it, you can just see the footpath in it, cutting through this newly harvest wheat field, and make me thinking about, I spoke about you, the listener. How aware are you of your legacy, of what you're leaving behind? Should we be aware of that? Should we be conscious of that? Because here a couple of people have walked through here. Yeah, I can see footprints. So as more people walk through this field in this state, the footpath will become more established. As I'm doing this now, it's another set of footprints that are adding to this route. And in your life, how aware are you? Is that a concern of yours? Is it a passion? Do you not care? You're aware of it, but you just don't care. What is that? Any thoughts on that? As I said before, I would love to hear from you. Drop me a text or email. Nearly there. This was a short walk, but a lot of audio. Apparently, I needed to get it out. Currently following, obviously, St Rumbold's way, but I'm also on the Burnwood Jubilee Way, which I'm cutting through a golf course. So that's a little bit interesting, isn't it? Just got to watch the old golfers playing away. At least it's signposted here. That's good. Just got to make sure I'm not getting in the way of any golf balls. Because of the nature of this walk, it's you kind of feel like you are in places where you shouldn't be. So it kind of feels a little bit more roguish in a way. In my best way, I'm hardly a rogue at all when it comes to living life and abiding by the law and stuff, But this does feel like walking through a golf course, This field that I'm in at the moment, the footpath that is on the map kind of meanders, and you can tell it's because the person's trying to think. But if you look, you say, oh, I need to get to that edge of the block of woods, and you can see the person sort of like walked to the other edge and then walked along the block of woods, and you're like, no, that's not where the path is. The path's just going straight to that corner there. So it's kind of fun. I think I'm on the approach to Buckingham, and I'm walking down another little tunnel of trees, and there's like a corrugated den set up there. Don't know if any of you out there are old enough to remember the TV show Stig of the Dump. It kind of gives that kind of feeling to it. Again, the sunlight, not that there's much direct sunlight this morning, is well cut out here, so it's very dark and very kind of place that you would love coming down here as a kid and just let your imagination run wild. It's lovely. Thinking about St Rumbold, the infant saint, supposedly lived for 3 days in 650. That's 1300 years ago. And I'm here still talking about him. Nobody else might be. I met a lady there just by the HS2 monstrosity. And when I mentioned I was doing St Rumbold, oh yeah, I know St Rumbold. He's got a spring there, hasn't he? So well, it's a well, and it's not there anymore. But you know, she lives in Brackley, And then, I said later about, legacy and what you leave behind. Does it matter? I think it's what we do with it, isn't it? It's the same with our lives. What we do with it. It's completely up to us. And we put so much pressure on ourselves and society, parents and family and friends, and like I said, ourselves. We put this pressure on ourselves to succeed in whatever that is, whether it's in your career, financially, materialistically, property-wise, competition between your siblings, your partner, your parents, your peers, your colleagues, all that type of stuff. What is he doing? The pigeon in a very strange position then. But he's flown on, he or she. So it's been an interesting little 2 days. And here we are, at the end of St Rumbold's Way Legacy Reflections. As with any journey, it's not just about the miles walked, but the thoughts stirred along the way. Legacy is a strange thing, something we often don't notice we're shaping until we stop and look back. Perhaps it's not about what we intentionally leave behind, but the subtle impact we make without realizing it. If today's walk has brought up any questions or thoughts for you, I'd love to hear them. Whether you see legacy as a grand gesture or the quiet moments that ripple through time, your perspective matters. Because we're all leaving traces, whether we intend to or not. And if this journey spoke to you, consider leaving a review or following the podcast. Small gestures, like footsteps, accumulate into something larger over time. The Story Pilgrim was written, walked, talked by me, Darren Hill. Anya Backer and Sean the Harp gave us the gorgeous original music. Find all of us on your socials, search The Story Pilgrim. Until next time, keep listening, and buen camino.